Hotep Senuhena Senut Tiren Ishakandugu Kemet. I hope you're doing well. Let me check the sound. Sounds beautiful. I have shared the invite link, so whoever wants to get on the panel is free to do so. I have entitled this video, Nothing Wrong with That. Let me start to give you the mood. This is a comment that I've left, as you can see, about an hour ago. And it's on the latest video uploaded by Brother Garfield. I did not watch the full live stream. I scrolled through the video and I happened to stop up on the part where Brother Reggie was saying similar stuff that he said when he came on my platform. This is what I wrote. Brother Reggie feels Kemetic people are wrong for being religious while defending the Nation of Islam, which is a religious organization. Then he praised Reketi Amen, who is a Kemetic priestess. Netaneb confirmed it, while going at Jabari for being a Kemetic priest. I think it's not the full message. I'm wondering if there it is, more. With all due respect, let me see if it shows. Yes. With all due respect, Brother Reggie is all over the place, contradicting himself constantly. So that is stated for the record. You can see why I have entitled this video, and nothing wrong with that. Because now we have some people who want to make you feel that if you are Kemetic, you are wrong per se. I'm aware that many people don't like the word religion, so they will use spirituality. But to me, when our people use the word spirituality rather than religion, it's like people who write Africa and African with a K instead of a C. That's me. So why will all those belief systems be okay, but someone following or practicing the Kemetic religion will not be okay? Now, sometimes you will hear people say, well, I address such and such group and so on. That's besides the point. Because it's not a matter of people addressing Kemetic people. It's a matter of people who have for many years, on a very constant and regular basis, criticized Kemetic people for being religious. If some people don't pronounce the words properly, or don't have enough knowledge of the Medunecher, or are not doing the gestures properly or the rituals properly, well, if you want to, and that's for anybody, because I'm not making this video just to talk about Brother Reggie. I'm addressing all those who really feel the same way. Now, many will dismiss the Kemetic religion because they are Abrahamic, and it just doesn't match. It doesn't fit. Because, of course, they will not criticize people for being religious excuses. And they are very happy to hear speeches like that. You understand what I'm saying? So, for the record, yesterday I uploaded a video with Dr. Obadele Kambo, who earned his PhD in linguistics back in 2012, if I'm not mistaken. And he was talking with a magic Medunecher practitioner. It's a new expression. I did not come with it. I did not come up with it, Someone close to Dr. Kambo asked me to remove the video, so I made it private, so nobody but me can see it. I made it private, so if anybody clicks on the link, they can see that the video was indeed uploaded. It wasn't a mistake, but you will not be able to see it. I even thought about putting a particular part that lasts like about 1 minute or maybe 2 minutes. But then I thought, okay, I don't want to be asked to remove it again. So during that exchange, the magic Medu practitioner, if he studied linguistics, if he had any formal training in linguistics, and the magic Medu practitioner replied, yes, I have. And at some other point where he was asked if he studied at the university or just with somebody, he replied at the university. So some people go from learning computer science and dealing with linguistics to studying linguistics formally. I suspect that there was a lie in the mix. And when you have people who will just not admit that they are wrong about the slightest issue, the slightest point, don't hold your breath if you expect them to admit that they lie. So I said, I suspect that there was a lie in the mix, but this will not be addressed. It's just like what you've heard for those who followed the discussion that started a week ago, where some people claim that in the Medu Neter there's a particular word that stands for a title. And you might have noticed in their response that they eluded that. Though it was mentioned, okay, the term title was mentioned a few times. But of course, no documentation was provided. No source was provided, you see. So I might get back to the nothing wrong with that statement. But now I want to talk about these new age teachers who will dismiss the specialists. And I feel like it's the same as back in the day when we have people dealing with metaphysics. And when we will tell them that we're just not feeling what they are saying, they will tell us stuff like, well, that's because you're not in tune with your inner self. That's because you have not activated your chakras. That's because you did not meditate enough. And all sorts of different excuses. Now, amazingly, I don't mind people defending their brothers and sisters. But if you defend some people that you are close to, you don't have to defend their BS. We have hypotheses and personal opinions presented as facts. And it's something habitual. Over the years, we've heard it all. Now, there's a live stream that I heard yesterday. The live stream is not online. So maybe there's been some discussion and it was decided not to put the live stream on or not to keep it. Or maybe there's just some delay with YouTube. The live stream was yesterday. So usually it really takes a few minutes. Usually it doesn't take an hour for a live stream to appear live. So I think ultimately it was deleted. And I don't know if it was a joke, but I heard a mention of Ra being a volcano. And I hope it's a joke. Because we already heard there's Allah in the Egyptian text. So now if we're going to hear that Ra is a volcano, I'm like, well, when will it stop? That's just for the record. So now if you have enough people behind you, you can come to the community and make claims. And when you don't agree with the claims, you're appealing to authority and you're not qualified. It has just gotten crazy. Are we supposed to have a scientific approach? So we have some people who tell you, well, you need to read my book. Whatever claims I address were made publicly. And when people say, I have the source, I will show the source, and they don't show the source, it's a huge problem. People are being disingenuous. And in the process, they actually disrespect the audience, the listeners, the people who have opposing views. There's no scientific approach at all. And it makes Kemetic people look bad. It makes people who want to learn the Mother Nature and learn the culture hesitant. Hey, what's up? We have Anthony Harris in the place to be. Feel free if you want to join the panel. I presume in America right now, particularly in the East Coast, you brothers and sisters are getting to go to work because I think it's like 6 a.m. right now in New York, at least. So they will be hesitant about learning the Mother Nature because they hear this talk. But what I want to tell you is that if you don't know the Mother Nature and you're wondering what's going on, just know that these new age claims are made by two people, at most three people. Besides those two, three people, you have so many different teachers, scholars, practitioners, and even some people who are not down with practicing the Kemetic religion that have actually refuted those three individuals. So there is no reason why those three individuals, even though they have groupies that are quite active, there's no reason why they will be prevalent over the opinion, the academic field, the evidence, the records of the whole world. I don't see why two or three people will know better than the whole world. If people feel comfortable enough and bold enough to take that approach, it's open season to I'm going to make any claims that I want. And we're going to be, as a people, far from scientific and a laughing stock. With Kemet, we are lucky because we have the original artifacts most of the time. So we deal with the records. We deal with the primary source, primary evidence. We deal with the original artifacts. And if we can read the language and translate the language, then we can have a clear idea of what they thought, what they wrote, what they did, what they believed. But if anybody just comes and say, well, I feel like, what when they said that, they meant that, that's conjecture. We have Claudia Barton who wrote, good morning, Shaka. Those guests were a bit arrogant. They were a turn off. I tried to listen and join in, but the snapping turtle came for me. Law. No worries, though. Are you talking about Brother Garfield's broadcast? Because if you are, once again, I did not listen to it. I scrolled over the video, and then I happened to come across Reggie. But if you're talking about some other video, then feel free to let me know. And for the record, for those who don't know, whenever I'm live streaming, no matter what the title says, you are always free to get on the panel. I have shared the invite link, but you must show your face. It's a new day now. No more anonymous and unidentified individuals. So Claudia is asking, is talking about Reggie. Yeah. Well, I don't know what the guest said, you know, but when there's a trend like that of very brave and courageous people who would choose the smallest community amongst the conscious community. The Kemetic people are the smallest community, the less numerous. So they are so brave and courageous that they figured, well, okay, I'm going to pick this one and I'm going to go at them. Jealousy plays a part in what we are seeing. Brothers and sisters, don't get it wrong. You might be Kemetic and feel like all fellow Kemetic people will be down with you. Well, actually, there is competition. And there's nothing wrong with competition because it can help you improve. Let's say you deal with Kemet and another person does as well. And you both learn the meta nature, but you don't go that far. And then you hear someone you know who took it really far. And maybe he learned one foreign language or maybe two foreign languages. You might feel like, damn, I have to step my game up. But some people are actually jealous if you can read between the lines. If you listen carefully to what they say, sometimes they will say stuff like, I don't know why I wasn't invited. I deal with that issue. Or sometimes they will bring up money. People paying for goods and services, which is what we do in so many areas of life. But when people spend money in something initiated by black folks, all of a sudden it becomes a problem. And sometimes we bring some other organization that are teaching anti-black and anti-African stuff. Then we hear, oh, they did a lot for the community. Bias, unfair, unjust. So basically, if I do a lot for the community, then I can teach that, black people are disfigured. Black people are the essence of ugliness, and I can kill men and children. And it's all good. That's the morals. That's the character. That's the standard. Brothers and sisters, if you're not feeling a particular Kemetic group, so be it. Look for another one. If you don't find any, create one. You don't want to create one, don't create none. Do your thing. I'm very well aware that the organizations that I have addressed over the years will most likely remain there. I'm not expecting them to go. To which is on. You understand what I'm saying? And you don't even see that much conflict amongst different organizations that share the same religion. They will ultimately have these agreements, but you will be hard pressed to see people criticizing another organization that have the same ideology or doctrine year after year. But with Kemetic people, we don't see it. So people who teach you about the big head scientists and teach you that Africans are living a jungle life and black means and Africans Africans are not civilized, Africans are living a jungle life. No criticism. But somebody will deal with Kemet, and because you don't like the way they pronounce a word, then it's a problem. Jealousy plays a big part. For some people, it is not popping. Simple as that. It's not popping. So it's never too late to reinvent yourself. and do something of your own. See, some people have a lot of knowledge, but they will not necessarily be skilled to come up with some organization. You understand what I'm saying? Other people will have the skill and the know-how to come up with some organization, but they will not necessarily have that much knowledge. See, you cannot expect people to be Imhotep and Muhammad Ali at the same time. You cannot expect someone to be Imhotep and Bruce Lee at the same time. The guy might excel in martial art. He will not necessarily excel in some particular area of knowledge, of science. When we listen to those people who criticize Kemetic people, it feels like, everything has to be on point. Everything has to be on point. It feels like we need to have a perfect organization. And that requirement is not expected from all those different belief systems. And from those other belief systems, we have people who disrespect Africans openly, publicly, with no problem. So it's really a shame. Hold on. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to be right back. Bear with me. I'm back, y'all. Now, Claudia wrote, Imhotep, the world's first genius or multi genius, was criticized. I could not understand. Some people might not be familiar with Imhotep. So we'll put Britannica. And we're going to have a look together. That I can remove. Oh, hold on. Quality. Auto. Okay, 720p. Well, even at 720p, the quality is not great. But when the video will be over, it'll be okay. How is the quality on your end when you look at the video? Let me share Britannica 2012 regarding Imhotep. Did I say Britannica 2012? I bought the software. Um, I think they might have came up with an update 2000. I forgot the date. 2013 maybe. But now they stopped. Now they're doing subscription, online subscription. But because I bought the software, I'm so used to saying Britannica 2012. But this is the website, Britannica. Now, okay, all right. Keep the comments. Okay, I look a bit faded. Okay, thank you for letting me know. And Claudia added that Bova wrote a whole book about him. I'm sure many people wrote books about Imhotep. Imhotep, Greek Imutes, born 27th century BCE, Memphis, Egypt. Now, in terms of culture, I'm sure you've heard about Memphis, Tennessee. Well, the city of Egypt, Memphis being the Greek way. He was a vizier or chatti. He was a sage or wise man, an architect, an astrologer, and chief minister to Djoser, who reigned circa 2600 BCE. And he was the second king of Egypt's third dynasty, who was later worshipped as the god of medicine in Egypt and in Greece, where he was identified with the Greek god of medicine, Asclepius. So here, from Britannica, from Encyclopedia Britannica alone, we have an example of a typical human being that was later deified. And he is not the attested living human being that was later on deified. That's for the record. So Imhotep is considered to have been the architect of the step pyramid built at the necropolis of Saqqara in the city of Memphis, the oldest extant monument of hewn stone known to the world. The pyramid consists of 6 steps and attains a height of 200 feet, which is 61 meters. Hold on. Got my lady calling. I'm back. Y'all keep the comments going. And if you want to get on the panel, just hit the link that says invite link in the chat. Okay. I would really love to hear from you, brothers and sisters, as long as you don't mind showing your face. That's the only requirement. So let me continue. We are told that the step pyramid in Saqqara is the oldest extant monument of hewn stone known to the world. Another record. Some people are going to be mad, right? And they're going to do extrapolation. They're going to do, oh, you guys claim everything comes from Kemet. You know the haters? It's like a dude who doesn't have a car. You have a car, it's not the greatest car in the world, and he has the nerve to criticize your car, and he doesn't even own a car. And there's so many things that were first done in Kemet. People will not believe it. And that's hate. That's jealousy. Fact is a fact. Imhotep's high standing in Joseph's court is affirmed by an inscription bearing his name on a statue of Joseph found at the site of the Saqqara pyramid. Now, for the record, there's a Magic Medunecha pseudo back in the days, amongst all the crazy claims that he comes up with. He had the nerve to appeal to the Abrahamic believers by talking about we don't have any record for Imhotep during his lifetime. So I had to put up an actual artifact bearing Imhotep's name during the lifetime of Imhotep. For the record, I mean, some people, I mean, recently, some people, just don't change much. The dude said that live on the air. He might have the nerve to say, no, I never said that, because you know how people do. I probably have the recording somewhere, but it's the same dude who said that Theophilo Benga doesn't have a degree in linguistics. And I have demonstrated, I have shown the website of the State University of San Francisco, where they list the degrees of Theophilo Benga, and we have advanced studies in linguistics and philology from a university in Switzerland and the university in Paris, France, called Sorbonne. So we apparently have some people who are revisionists. They revise history as it pleases them. And we haven't heard them say, my bad, I was wrong about that. Brothers and sisters, beware of people who can never admit that they were wrong about something. There's nothing wrong with admitting that you were in error. It's not a game, a competition like, for the last 20 years, I never made a mistake. Who doesn't make mistake? Who doesn't make mistakes? But when people cannot even acknowledge that they were wrong about something, because for those who have followed the discussion, it takes 3 hours, 3 hours and a half or so for them to claim they will show a source and they don't show the source. And when they cannot show the source, they go like, yeah, but you haven't answered my question. Can you answer my question? Honestly, brothers and sisters, this appealing to authority is crap. We're supposed to appeal to authority. I don't care if people want to make a distinction between appealing to authority and referring to authority. Those are the experts. Those are the specialists. Those who are the ones that have studied. Those are the ones who do the digging. Those are the ones who uncover the findings when we're talking about archaeology. So they have first-hand access to the records that allow us to figure out what took place in the past. We have Brother Chris Hotepsen. How you doing?
Hatepu. Go ahead, rock out. I'm listening to you. Go ahead.
No problem. Feel free to interject whenever you want. So, what was I saying? Yes. So now they came up with, whenever you quote some experts, some specialists, oh, you're appealing to authority. You know, I'm just gonna mute you, brother, because I can hear some noise from the car. Now, there's another thing I wanted to address. Yes. Oh, how do you define that? How do you come to that conclusion? Why don't they ask the specialists these questions? It really reminds me when you used to talk with some Moors, and they'd be like, we're not Africans, we're not black. What is black to you? How do you define Africans? The people, whatever word you tell them, they ask you to define it. They need to get themselves a dictionary. Usually we agree on words. You understand what I'm saying? And it really reminds me, like 10 years back when people would make crazy claims all the time. And when we asked them to substantiate it, they would say, my baby mama told me about it. Oh, my homie in the corner, he told me about it. Oh, there's an artifact, people repeat stuff that they've heard. There's a record that talks about this. Oh, for real? What's the record? Where is it? You can hear a rat urinate on cotton. You can hold your breath until you die. So let's continue. The inscription lists a variety of titles including chief of the sculptors and chief of the seers. Although no contemporary account has been found that refers to Imhotep as a practicing physician. Understand what he said here? It doesn't say no contemporary account has been found, period. It says no contemporary account has been found that refers to Imhotep as a practicing physician. Ancient documents illustrating Egyptian society and medicine during the Old Kingdom show that the chief magician of the pharaoh's court also frequently served as the nation's chief physician. Imhotep's reputation as a reigning genius of the time, his position in the court, his training as a scribe, and his becoming known as a medical demagogue only 100 years after his death are strong indications that he must have been a physician of considerable skill. If I was to guess the meaning of demagogue, demi in French, that you will probably pronounce demi in English, is the equivalent of when you say semi, that we call semi. Okay? For example, what you call half an hour, we call it demi-heure. Heure is hour in French. So demi-heure is literally half an hour. Just for the record. So here we have a statue, a picture of a statue. And it says, Imhotep reading a papyrus scroll detail of a sculpture in the Egyptian Museum in Berlin. Here it is. So it looks like it's the end of the article. Now let me go through the comments. We have Claudia said that she has a subscription for Encyclopedia Britannica. You know, I considered taking the subscription, but I look at the state of, I mean, my people, I don't think my people want the information. I think they want to be entertained. And it looks like, you know, if you're just long-winded and you use complicated words, then people will take you for a champion in whatever field you're addressing. And we no longer need authorities, because if we quote them, we're appealing to the authorities. And apparently it's a negative thing. I appeal to authority like a mofo. That's what I do. Nobody will read a couple of books about medicine and then try to argue with their doctors on what they're supposed to do to heal the ailment. But for strange reason, when it comes to linguistics and history, but some people feel like they can challenge the experts. Apparently, they don't do that in the religious field. But anyway, Claudia Barton wrote that challenging Obenga is idiotic, in my opinion. That's what she wrote. I don't know if I should say he was challenging Obenga, but because he doesn't have a degree in linguistics, and he's kind of trying to mislead the people into thinking that he studied linguistics formally at the university, when he's pointed out that the dude doesn't have a degree in linguistics, and in my opinion, he shouldn't label himself a linguist, particularly since he has not studied in the field. He does not have any peer-reviewed work in the field. So the escape route that he has found was to claim that Obenga doesn't have a degree. And you could hear him asking me, do you accept Obenga's linguistics arguments? Obenga owns a PhD and he has studied linguistics at an advanced level, and according to the State University of San Francisco, he had some degrees in linguistics as well. You see, but it's the same dude who said that Allah is in Egyptian text. The same dude who said that we don't have any records for Imhotep during his lifetime, and it's the same dude who said just so many other exotic claims. I mean, we cannot catch up. We cannot keep up anymore. I wonder.
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, go ahead, brother.
brother Shaka, have you
Yes.
ever read? Excuse me, I'm just waking up here,
No, no problem.
walking to my car. But have you ever read the book, The 42 Logical Fallacies?
No, I haven't read that one.
All right. Well, within this book, it explains how logical fallacies are used and how often they are misused, both on the positive and negative side. Say, for instance, somebody says that you're appealing to authority. I recently heard brother, what's the gentleman's name? Shaka Amos speaking about the appeal to authority fallacy. And he was speaking about it. He said the same thing you said. He said, hell yeah, I appeal to authority. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think he truly understood, or what people truly understand, what an appeal to authority is. And I want to explain it this morning. An appeal to authority is when you appeal to an author without understanding the evidence that he has presented. All right. This can also be seen as a biased form of research. It can also be seen as a biased form of research. And what I'm trying to say and explain to you is, if you're appealing to let's see, let me give you one. I'll just say George G.M. James, and you appeal to him, right? Say, for instance, if I present some information from him and you present some information that counters him, it becomes an appeal to authority when the evidence that I'm presenting outweighs the evidence that he's presented, right? That's what the appeal to authority is. Because you're saying, nope, this is the appeal to authority. He's right because I've read it and I know he's right. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like the linguistic argument. If you're using a professor, PhD of linguistics in Aramaic studies at the University of Cairo, say, for instance, and this other guy is just saying, no, this is right because I'm saying so, and here's an author that agrees with me. Well, the appeal to authority becomes, where was your evidence that brought you to your conclusion? And that's how you smoke and appeal to authority out. Well, wait a minute. You don't have any evidence that appeals to your conclusion or your hypothesis, your hypothesis here. You get what I'm saying? They start asking a lot of questions, compound questions, to get away from their appeal to authority, right? You are not appealing to the authority. That's why when I hear y'all say that, I'm like, I don't think people have really, and I can send this book to you for free. I don't think people know what an appeal to authority is. You know what I'm saying? And many times the conscious community, they get these things wrong. And that's why sometimes, or the debate community, they end up looking silly against people that are more schooled
Seasoned.
than they
Yeah.
are seasoned. And I'm about like, I just be shaking my head like, no. When I heard Shaka say it, I was shocked. I'm like, no, that's not what an appeal to authority is. You know
And
what
I
I'm
get,
saying?
and I get what you're saying, but it seems to me that the definition of appealing to authority itself is subject to interpretation, because some people I've heard say appealing to authority is when you use one scholar only and you say, okay, he said that, so that's right. When you have several other scholars who have a different opinion. So I'm not even sure if people are on page with the meaning of appealing to authority. But to me, it's just a talking point, really. It's really a talking point because, for example, the same guy who first said that I was referring to authority and then later on said that I was appealing to authority, he's the same guy who asked me, so do you just go by what the dictionary says just because, do you go for what something says just because it's in the dictionary? And we're talking about definition of words. So, yes,
Uh-huh.
for the most part, dictionaries are right and exact. You will be hard pressed to find any spelling error or definition error in the dictionary. So when people go as far as even, um, almost dismiss a dictionary, I mean, how far can we go? There's no ending into that. You know what I'm saying? And once again, um, for those who don't know, we're talking about the consensus of Egyptology. So it's not just what one or two scholars say; it's what the majority of scholars say. But amazingly, we have 2/3 brothers who know better than all the PhDs in Egyptology, and it's just amazing. you know, Dr. Mario Beatty touched on a topic which was more about Kemet than the Chem. But did you get a chance, Brother Chris, to hear Jonathan Owens Smash Rockwell's live stream yesterday? Okay, maybe the brother's not available right now, but yeah, Smash Rockwell did a live stream yesterday.
I'm sorry, I was on
Oh,
mute and I was talking.
yeah, yeah.
No, I was listening to Garfield and
All
my
right.
man Rob Warren argue it out. They were
Mm,
battling this Muslim Islamic dude. So yeah. So no, I didn't get a chance.
mm.
I'll go back and look at it because I'm on my way to work now, and I just sit at my desk and look at it. But go ahead. What happened?
I understand. Yeah, Smash Rockwell talk about a few points. Mainly the fact that um, when the three guys made their response to the community, I remember at one point um, the Magic Medu Nature practitioner, the so-called linguist, said, "Oh, Reggie and Nedenem, I don't count them." Something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but he said
Mm-hmm.
something like that. I don't count them, or they don't count, or something like that.
Okay.
Which I think is very arrogant. You know, very arrogant because uh, I don't agree with Brother Reggie's stance regarding the Kemetic religion, but he has a paper that was accepted in a journal. Netaneb has one or maybe two papers accepted in a journal, and Netaneb is studying linguistics formally at a university, and he's also under some linguists. You see, some PhDs. So I think it's very arrogant. But at the end of the day, anybody that don't agree with them, would they have any regard for them? I mean, even Dr. Mario Beatty, when there was this discussion regarding the toponym, Kemet, I don't have all the statements that were made, but they were as condescending. So it doesn't matter the credential of whoever is in opposition with their claims. They will just outright invalidate those individuals, and they can do whatever they want. But right now, they went into a direction that is just very strange. And in summary, it could be labeled unscientific or just pseudo. People are free to use whatever word sounds better to them. But back
Yeah.
then we didn't.
Insert insult.
Yeah, because back then we didn't have that. Since when did we have people making claims? They don't even have any scholars that agree with their claims, and they basically say that all the other scholars are wrong. They didn't get it right. To me, that's new. To me, that's new. Not new from the same person, but it's open door. It's an open door. It's an open season. Anybody can come and make claims now and just dismiss any other scholars.
Well, you know what? You know why they're doing that? Because certain sectors in the conscious community, they want to be seen as right. You get what I'm saying? They want to be seen as correct. So what they do is they try to debunk scholars with these eloquent words. And when they try to debunk scholars, they're trying to become an authority, and they never been formally trained at it, right? And you made a good point. And I noticed, I think his name Wu Zhao, he does that a lot. He sounds very good. And somebody has said, well, could you do it, Chris? I said, man, I'm arguing something completely different. And I study anthropology, comparative mythology, and history. I said, this ain't got nothing to do with no linguistics. It's two different arguments here. Just because I sound smart and I know how to phrase my words don't mean that I'm trying to become an authority.
Mm.
Some people are formally trained, and there are people that are informally trained, right? And people that are informally trained should just sit back and just stay on the pork chop circuit, because these informally trained brothers give out a lot of wrong information. I saw it with Asar Imhotep, and I can't believe he's saying some of the things that he says. And I'm just like, where does he get this from? Egypt stole the religion of Nubian culture. Where do you get this from? Nobody would say something like that. Stole it. Where are you getting this from?
I mean, it's just strange, and I really lament the fact that I was asked to remove the video of the pseudo or so-called linguist talking with Dr. Obadele Kambo, because at one point, it was golden when Sa was asking about, has that language been reconstructed, and I think he was talking about Twi, the main language in Ghana. And Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Combo told him, it doesn't have to be reconstructed because it's a living language. You know what I'm saying? And some of the times he would say some stuff. And at one point, Dr. Combo told him, that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah, and you saw that informal training get in front of that formal training, and
yeah,
people that are formally training, like, that doesn't make any sense what you're saying. But what ends up happening is, because he's using buzzwords like, has that been deconstructed or reapplied to the standard of the living people that were, that sounds good when people start making blanket statements like that. But when you really listen to it, you're like, man, what are you saying?
there's no ending to that. There's no ending. So, if you're like that when you're a certain age, you're relatively young, you can change. But when you pass your 40s and you're still like that, most likely you will never change. It's just the arrogance is just crazy. The confidence has turned into some the confidence has pumped up the ego, and we can see how big the ego is with all the condescendent and arrogant answers that we are getting. And
Yeah.
I'm not into people's mind, but like I've said, and Jonathan kind of agreed to that, I really feel like those guys, they have their text in front of them when they are talking most of the time, and they send each other messages. They might even call each other, during live stream, so they can sound. That's why many times you don't actually see them, you know. And when they are used to repeating their stuff to their flock, it flies. But when they're dealing with some people who are informed, it doesn't fly that well. And then eventually, what they will resort to is asking some funny questions, endless questions, and mainly, you know, accusing people of either being pseudo or just appealing to authority. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
when they be like, how did you come to that conclusion? Jonathan Owens, he showed so many translation of Cam. So instead of them asking the scholars, why do you translate it as the black, they want to ask us that question. So now we have to question every statement made by scholars. That's the way. I mean,
Yeah, that's a technique called spreading. When people do that, like, that's why I always tell people, like, before I have a debate or anything like that, you always hear me say, okay, so what's your argument? What are the sources that you're using? Right? Especially if I'm the negative. If I'm a positive, here's my sources that I'm using. You're going to be arguing against these sources right here. Going through this huge argument where people take 1,500 sources, compile them upon one presentation, and think you have no way to refute that much information, because each author has a different, or each professor, PhD, or doctor, they're gonna have a different hypothesis. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why I say, like, you guys don't know the parameters of a discussion or an argument. No one has these type of arguments in that field of academia. They're not arguing like we argue. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just be all like, come on, y'all gotta step y'all game up with these silly arguments that y'all make. You know what I'm saying? Um, I wanna say something real quick, and this is important. Um,
Oh, jeez, I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead, brother Shaka. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
no problem. If it comes
I'm
back to
sorry,
you,
I
feel
forgot what I
free.
was gonna say. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
okay if it comes back to you.
Oh
But
God, I forgot.
yeah, I mean, we all heard it. There's that claim of being a title, and they didn't tell us, what the title was. And the funny thing is that not only that was a claim, but Ujau said that he had the source. And I was very patient, and I kept reminding him that I was waiting for the source, and he kept saying, "Yes, I will show it." And Jonathan Owens, you know, gave the insight of some conversation they had behind the scenes, outside of the live stream. And Ujau told Ankh, "Yeah, when I get home, I'll give you the source," but nothing was given. And indeed, I knew he didn't have the source. When you
Oh
engage in
no,
it,
yeah. I knew
you know,
he didn't have the source
yeah.
because he would have said, "Well, if you're coming with an argument and you don't have an answer, then
Mm.
you shouldn't be arguing." It's like I was looking at these Hebrews, right? I was looking at them argue with Jabari Saturday night. And they were just questioning him about Kemet, not the word, but what is this God and what is that God and what is this? And it's almost like they knew nothing about Kemet. So what I did was I called in just to shut them up, and I said, "Hey guys, can you guys tell me the difference?" And I want to keep this very simple for you guys. The difference between the Thebian theology and the what's it called, Memphite theology.
Memphite theology,
Yeah,
yes.
and they were just like, "Huh?" I said, "Wait a minute, no." I said, "Listen to what I said. Can you explain to me the difference between the two creation stories and the Memphite theology versus the Thebian theology?" And they were like, just say you don't know. Don't try to sit back and act like you know, right, Brother Shaka?" And I could tell they didn't know because of the questions they were asking. And the
Mm.
reason why I asked that question is to show that an uneducated question still shows that you're being pseudo. What you're trying to do is trap Jabari up, and you're asking questions with a lot of presuppositions in them. And that's not fair to Jabari. You're saying your God is fake because this God, it was created by this person, and the Medunetter was created by this person, and they don't even know if it's real or if that's what it means or not. So you're asking them questions with presuppositions in them. So I said, let me test your knowledge with a direct question with no presuppositions. What was the difference between the two theologies? And they didn't even know. And I said there, said, okay, who is Ptah? They did not know. And I was just like, wait a minute, you're asking questions, but yet you don't even know something as simple as that is the Ptah cosmology. They didn't know. And I was just like, okay, well, I don't think Jabari needs to be answering any of your questions then because you guys aren't even educated on these things. You're trying to
Mm.
use trap scholarship and get him caught up with a series of illogical questions. I don't think that's fair.
I mean, I remember, if I'm not mistaken, the guy, the Moorish guy, the young Moorish guy,
Oh God.
the one who showed the glyph that allegedly stands for Allah when he was talking to Smash Rockwell. Didn't he talk with Jabari first?
I think he did, but it didn't work because Allah is nowhere in Kemet. So
Well,
hey, I'm about to fall off, brother
I
Shock. I'm gonna
understand.
come right back. I gotta get
No
this
problem.
paperwork right quick.
Yeah, no problem. Well, according to Simon Hotep, we do have Allah in the Egyptian text, but anyway, apparently he breaks that down in his book. You know what I'm saying? But I don't even see why Jabari will have a discussion with a young brother that shows the glyph D36 according to Godliness classification and says that it means Allah. He probably seen that from that old video where someone called Badaran Dow made that claim during the Runo Korashidi tour. And for those who used to be on message boards back then, what was the name of the message board? The one from BET? I forgot the name. But back then there were not many message boards, for black people. Um So the guy who uploaded the video, he went on all those message boards and he put, yeah, that was a Runoko Rashidi tour, and here is what the tour guy said, and blah blah blah, and people ran with it, you know. But what I liked is that, and maybe I still have the video on my channel. If it's not on my channel, I'll probably have the video somewhere. As a matter of fact, let me look for it now. Let me look for it now because, you know, oh, come on now. Why wouldn't I have it? Okay, well, I thought I would have it there. I will try another search. Runoko Rashidi was in a radio, was interviewed at a radio. And that guy who uploaded that fake video claiming that the glyph says Allah, he he mentioned that video. And Runoko Rashidi said it doesn't say Allah. If he says Allah, it means someone wrote it, which shows that Runoko was not familiar with the Medu Neter, but it's not an obligation to be familiar with the Medu Neter. And the guy started saying, yeah, but you were seeing on the video praising Badar and that because, you know, Runoko Rashidi, the video was there. He said something, you know, like, you know, kind of like you could label it as, you know, bigging up somebody or whatever, you know. But he didn't trip on that, you know what I'm saying? So the guy tried to use that and he said, oh, you're being dishonest and all that. So the host, you know, cut the conversation short, and Runoko Rashidi repeated, you know, he just doesn't say Allah. There's nothing to discuss. And that was very good because that guy, the reason why that video has so much play is because that guy, the way he formatted that message, and I think he even put the picture of Runoko Rashidi in the post, but he put the link to Runoko Rashidi's website, you know. So people were kind of misled. He used the popularity of Runoko Rashidi to give some validity for that whack claim because it's so whack. It's one of the glyphs that appears the most. You know, you should have chosen a glyph that's rare, and people would have been, you know, soul searching. You know what I'm saying? So it was very good for Runoko Rashidi to publicly refute that thing. You understand what I'm saying? And 11 years later, also 12 years later, here we have a young Moorish brother showing that same glyph and claiming that it means Allah. And when he said that, I also scrolled through the video. But when he said that, you know, I pressed, you know, I basically stopped looking at the video. I'm like, you know, why would I continue? So we have our people, instead of getting real information, real knowledge, they get all sorts of pseudo stuff. And it's a shame. We're not progressing. We're just not progressing at all. Then you have a lot of people who make interpretation of the glyphs, and we have to be very careful with that. You know? But remember, brothers and sisters, I was once like you. There was a time where I didn't know the Medu Neter. But you can definitely learn it. With the lessons that I'm giving, after a few classes, you will learn more in a few weeks that it took me months to learn. I said it before and I'm saying it again. As far as I'm concerned, the Medu Neter is easier to learn than Arabic and Hebrew. Take it how you want it. So it's been an hour. I have some time. So I'm going to wait to see if some people want to participate or leave some message in the chat. And then, you know, I will call it a day. But it always feels good to talk to you, brothers and sisters. We have to get some clarity. We have to start with the pseudoism, It's getting out of hands. Remember, brothers and sisters, you don't have to agree with somebody just because you're cool with that person. It's actually best to tell someone that you don't agree with his claim, so there's no misunderstanding, there's no confusion. If you go like this and you don't say nothing, he might take it as you agreeing with his claim. And one day, ultimately, he finds out that you just didn't agree in the first place. He might feel betrayed and he might have some resentment towards you. So being pro-black or Kemetic or Pan-African or African-centered doesn't mean I agree with anything my brothers say. That's not what it means. That would be friendship scholarship. And some people did that before, and some people are still doing it today. Some people talk about character, integrity, but they are defending falsehood. And I'm telling you, the people who defend falsehood will go as far as disrespecting people because they don't agree with their falsehood. They are capable of doing so much wrongs. So much. Can you picture this kind of people being like heads of states or governors? People who can really make decisions that will impact people's lives. I'm telling you, man. No more scientific method. No more scientific method. That's what it is because I said so. And I wrote about it. So as long as y'all didn't read about it, oh man. When you look at all this, it's like a textbook of how to create a cult. A textbook on how to create a cult. You can just follow them and you will have your cult and you will have your groupies. Anyway, it's been a nice hour. I will continue to upload videos from museums. And I will continue to give Medu Neter classes. And I'm really looking forward to have new learners. So once again, you have the email address in the description section of this video. Feel free to contact me and give me your availabilities. In the meantime, stay safe, stay healthy, and if I'm allowed to by the Necheru, I will definitely holler back at you. Hotep.
Now, for the record, for those who don't know, I'm giving Medu Neter classes. And here, that's the flyer. Okay? So, those who are interested, feel free to holler at me. If you're not interested, it's cool. But I recommend that everybody who has not yet seen the video, Kemet and Ma'at, Before Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, then watch it. It has about 300,000 views and really deserves to have a lot more.
I just want to let everyone know who's listening in now and who's going to listen to this stream in the future. I just had my first Medu Neter class by Brother Shaka today, and I've had other Medu Neter lessons by other teachers, and I can tell you right now, the brother is the best in the game. He is that was one of the best classes I've ever had, ever. So if you're interested in learning the Medu Neter, if
if you're interested in getting the basics of it, Brother Shaka is an awesome teacher. Get with him, and it's extremely affordable. This brother is giving us his time and his skills, and he's basically giving it away. I mean, I just consider it a donation. You know what I'm saying? So if anybody's interested in learning the Meta Nature, get with this brother right here. He's an awesome, awesome, awesome teacher. And I'll end with that.
Hotep Senu, Hena Senut. This is Julie, also known as Servant of Yah, and I'm currently taking the Medu Neter classes with Brother Shaka, and it has been an amazing experience. Only 2 lessons so far, and I feel like I've been taking the classes for months, just with the how in depth he goes into the vocabulary words, the construction of the language, the grammar. It's been immeasurable, the experience. And one thing that comes across, hands down, is his extreme passion for teaching this to anyone who is willing to learn and has an interest in learning. So I highly suggest, if you are interested, even a minimal interest, that you subscribe to the classes with Brother Shaka. It's such a nominal amount for how much you get. I know, like, our last class was over 2.5 hours. It felt like 2 minutes, but because that's how, involved you are in what he's teaching and how he teaches and how compassionate he is about what he teaches. Also with sharing materials free of charge, no question, no doubt. It's just what he does. He doesn't have to, but he does. And so I just wanted to give a short testimonial about the class and the effectiveness of the class. And all of that is attested to how studied Brother Shaka is. So I highly recommend anyone with a minimal interest that you do sign up for the Medu Neter class. Hotep.
Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, which is Ma'at Forever. Don't forget to watch the video entitled Kemet and Ma'at. Don't forget to share Kemet and Ma'at on my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, or other social media that you use. Email, text messages, you name it. Those who wish to donate can do so on paypal.me/ma'atforever.